Hey everybody, Hey Hardware here, and in this video we are going to go over how to install Proxmox. We are going to be using a USB drive and just doing the initial install. It's pretty straightforward, so we will jump right into it. I'm actually in Proxmox and I'm going to be installing it on a VM so that I can show you the different steps. And I think there's a little button there. There we go. We can make it a little bit bigger. And we're just going to start out by booting into our USB disk. Now, I recommend using, first you can download the ISO just from the Proxmox website here. You'll just click the download and that'll get you the latest version, which as of this video is 8.41. And then I recommend using Ventoy. I have a whole video, which is not found. I'll have to fix that link, but you can find it on the left-hand side here under Ubuntu. Ventoy multi-OS boot disk, which is great because you can just put Debian, we can put Ubuntu, you can put Proxmox, whatever you want, you can put on there, and you can boot into whatever you want. So I recommend using that as your installer. I have not run into any issues, even installing Windows, it works totally fine. So that's what we're gonna be using. And then we'll go through all of these installation steps. So let's just jump back into Proxmox and let's get started. So we'll click Start Now. And actually, I'm not sure if it's going to boot to the... Yes. Okay, so I missed the first step here. Let's just stop this. And one cool thing about Proxmox is you can go into the hardware section, you can add a USB device, and if we do vendor, I can choose my SanDisk 3.2 drive, which I have Ventoy installed on, and I can click Add. Then I can go up to I can go to options and I can change the boot order, enable USB, and put that as boot 1. So we will boot from the USB drive. Click OK. Now I go back into summary, click Start Now, and we'll boot directly into Ventoy and we can get started. So you can see it's super easy. I can just select 8.4-1, which is what the latest version is at this time. And then I'm just going to boot into, you could pretty much do normal or grub 2 mode. I'm just going to do normal. And here we go. So if you are using an NVIDIA card, I've noticed for my laptop, I had to add the no mode set for the parameters in the Linux kernel. There's a guide here, which this link probably doesn't work either. Yes, I need to fix my links. I'm missing /docs, but there is a grub no mode set fix here where basically you can add no mode set. So if I go into, if I just press E while I'm in here, I could come in and go down to Linux, and then I could just add anywhere in this line, just like right here, no mode set. And that basically will make sure you're able to get past the screen where it says, it'll say something like dev mapper PVE root, and it'll just be stuck there. So if you run into that issue, I suffered with that for a little while. But we're going to be choosing graphical installation. You can do terminal UI, it's basically the same. If you don't have a mouse, it's a little bit easier to do the terminal UI, but I do have a mouse hooked up, so I'm going to do the graphical installation. And this is going to boot into the installation loader, and we can actually make this a little bit smaller. I don't think I can do anything to increase the text size. Let's just try. No, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, as far as I can tell, there's no way to make this any bigger, so apologies. But it's a GUI, so it's pretty easy. And actually, I'm going to move myself up over here because I'm going to be covering up some of the options down here if I don't do that. So we're just going to agree to the EULA. And I am in Proxmox, so I just have the QEMU hard disk. No idea if I'm saying that right. And my USB drive that we are booting from. So I'm going to choose that. You can go through and make sure you're choosing the correct target hard disk. Click Next. I'm in the United States, so I'll leave the country as the United States, and you can find the correct time zone. We'll do Chicago, and US English for me, but change it to whatever works for you. Password, this will just be for our root password. And then I'll just put in an email that I use for everything that I don't really care about. And then I'll choose next. And you will get alerts from this. I don't know who's sending them, but I've gotten a few alerts that like there's some for some temperature, like critical temperatures in an SSD. But this is the part that I used to get confused at, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's simple. But if you have multiple networking cards, you might see multiple devices here. And I had another server that had dual 10 gig Ethernet ports, and it was such a pain, but eventually I got it working. I don't know, I will probably do a specific video, but basically the way how sometimes Linux works is the different MAC addresses might get assigned to different ETH, like named devices. So you might have a specific MAC address that gets ENP6S18, and then next time I booted, it would be a different MAC address that was assigned to that. So I kept losing connection to Proxmox, and I had to manually map the MAC address to custom names, and that ended up working well. So I'll probably do a video on that in the future just because it was such a pain, and I couldn't really find actually a lot of information on how to do it. And I absolutely hate these like friendly names that they choose now. But anyways, select the one, if it has a green dot, it's got a network cable, so worst case, if you have two and they're both hooked up, you can unplug one, and I think which one has a little green dot is going to be the one that you want. And then for host name, this doesn't really matter other than in server view, like I do Riker.pve, and so you can see, you can't see, I'm in the way, of course. Well, maybe over here is a good place for me. Riker, which is hard to see, I named my Proxmox instance Riker.pve2, and that's where that shows up. So just keep that in mind when you're naming it. It's not really going to be the domain you use, especially if you follow my other guides where we install Nginx Proxy Manager and Pi-hole and get an SSL certificate. Then you can choose whatever domain you want for Proxmox. I'm just going to do demo.pv1 or 3 actually, because it's the third one. IP address. So this is, you want to mainly make sure there's no conflicts because you're statically assigning this. So it's going to request this IP address each time you turn on your computer. So really in the router, you should statically assign this and then choose what you want. I'm going to leave it as is, and that's provided to me, vended to me by the router most likely, which is why it's 230. If I want, I could change it to something else. I'm only changing this last octet here, and that's what /24 means, is basically the only one that really matters is the last one. The first 3 octets are probably just going to be the same as your gateway, and your gateway is typically just 1, but yours might look different. I think more common is like 192.168.1.1 or 0.1, but for me, I have a VLAN that I put on the 20, so that's why I have that there. That's my bench net, my test net where I test everything. And then I would actually switch this to 20.1 because I want my gateway to be my DNS server. This is a little bit confusing if you don't have a lot of experience with a router, but if you go into your router, likely there's going to be a DNS server configuration, and it's going to be like Google or Cloudflare or something. If you just use your gateway as your DNS server, most likely it's just going to be fine. You could also put in another DNS server if you're running like a Pi-hole and you want to use that directly. When I run Pi-hole, which is like basically, a lot of people use it for an ad blocker, but I will use my Pi-hole as the DNS server for my router, and then I just use on all my hosts, I use the DNS server of my gateway, which then uses the DNS server on my router. It's just kind of like there's different layers. Like I could put a DNS server on my internet network, or like the final network going out into the internet. I could put a DNS server on my VLAN, and then I could put a DNS server on my actual host. You can specify it at all different levels. I just prefer to do it at the gateway level because that works out the best for me. But you can, again, this is like a little bit complicated at first, but just keep in mind IP address, it's going to be statically assigned because you're going to need to actually go to this IP address when you're done with the installation. And if it changes, then you're going to have to find out what is the new IP address. So you want to make sure that's statically assigned. It's best to do it in the router so that there's no conflicts, and also then set it in here to whatever you set it to in the router. And the gateway you can typically find in your router, it'll tell you, and same with the DNS server. A lot of times you're just going to choose the gateway. So hopefully that made sense. I got confused with this for a long time. I stressed on the host name. I'm not a networking guru, so hopefully you're able to figure it out. Feel free to leave a comment if you're still kind of confused. We'll click next and just confirm everything here. And I just like to automatically reboot after successful installation. We'll click install, and it's going to go through the installation process. Now it's typically pretty quick. It's not a big system. And then when it reboots in, it's going to immediately be available to log into. And what's cool is even though I have Proxmox and I'm installing Proxmox on Proxmox, so it's like an Inception joke in here somewhere, I'm sure, I can use Proxmox. It's not ideal, but I'll be able to go to the IP address that it's been installed to, which was the one we configured, and I'll be able to actually use it. Now I'm not going to, but it's a good way for me to show the installation steps. All right, let's just jump back to the guide here. We'll go to Proxmox install. We are all the way to accessing the interface. So one thing to go over, when it's done, it's going to boot in and we'll be able to see the IP address that it's at. This isn't the actual IP address that we just assigned. I think it was 220 or something like that. But we'll be able to go directly to this. But if you're on Chrome or Firefox, because all our SSL certificates aren't really valid, they're self-signed, we'll have to click advanced here and go in and just allow it. You'll actually see this step, luckily, when we get to it. So, all right, one issue here is because I have it boot to the USB. When it restarts, I need to take the USB drive out. So I'm just going to shut this down. Go into hardware and USB, I'm going to remove. And under options, boot order, looks like USB was already removed. So we're good there. Now I can go back in. For you, just make sure you move the thumb drive and boot up again. I'm going to click start now. And as you can see, Proxmox is installed. It's pretty quick to log into and get started here, and then we'll navigate to the web page that Proxmox is on. So we can see HTTPS. Remember, it's HTTPS, and then we'll do 192.168.20.230. So HTTPS 192.168.20.230, and then 8006. And as you can see, we get this potential security risk, not secure, blah, 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 blah. We're just going to click advanced, and then we're going to click accept the risk. And then you're just going to sign in. Root is going to be the default admin, and then whatever your password was, I just click save username, and then click login. This is normal to get this subscription nag here. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. You can just click OK. In another video, so if we go back here, actually, I don't have a post-install video, but basically what we're going to do is just search for Proxmox VE helper scripts and navigate here and just make sure you're on community-scripts.github.io. Keep in mind, standard warning, you're installing a script from the internet, so just, be careful. We'll view scripts, and all these scripts are open source, so you're able to view the source code if you want. But this Proxmox VE post install script, I didn't use this for a long time. I didn't know it existed, but this is amazing. It basically sets up your system so that the subscription nags are gone and all the sources are set correctly. So we can actually go click on demo, which is our server. We can open up the shell and we can just paste this post install script. Yes, we want to run it. You pretty much want to select yes for everything and yes. And what it's going to do again is go through and do a lot of like the things that you should do when you first install Proxmox. So highly recommend going through this PVE post install script. You can actually just copy like the HTTP part of it, and you can see the actual script here. So the source code is available for you if you want to do these steps yourself. Actually, I do have the steps listed separately. So if you want to actually go through and do all the steps manually, I'm in the way again. Put myself back over here. If you want to go through and do all the steps manually instead of using the script, you can. You learn a little bit about Proxmox, which is nice, and it's really easy to do, but the script is going to do these exact same steps. All I did was pluck each of the steps out of the script, just in case anybody who's like hyper secure wants to run everything manually. You can do it manually. Just check out the Proxmox post install guide. Okay, so we're back in here, but we need to actually find our script. Okay, we're just going to reboot, and we can close this window because we don't need it anymore. And we're just waiting for the system to reboot, and we'll do a refresh here in a second. It only takes a second to reboot, which is nice. We'll just click enter to speed that up. And we should be able to basically reboot at this point. And now the system's back up. We got some question marks, so it's coming back up. There we go. Okay, so everything is good to go. We're back up and our system's looking good. So we didn't get that nag anymore. And if we go into like updates, all of our system is up to date and we have the latest scripts, which is great. You still do get like a subscription nag when you do the updates, but the sources are all set correctly. So it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was before, and it's good to start installing virtual machines. So as you can see in my guide, I have a lot. We've got Nextcloud. I'm actually about to put out the Nextcloud AIO. This one is under construction here. Let me actually bring up 192.168.10.2 and then 8006. And then this is my production system right now, Bob. And I'm going to have a guide for all of these basically. So Pi-hole. Oh my gosh, I'm in the way again. Whoop, move myself. Can I make this bigger? Why can I not make this bigger? Okay, basically I've got Pi-hole up here. I've got Nginx Proxy Manager. So Pi-hole is going to be kind of like your DNS server. I also do Unbound and Nginx Proxy Manager, so you can set up actual like domains for all your stuff. Docker, it's actually Portainer is being hosted in a LXC here. Dashboard, Home Assistant, Jellyfin, which is like Netflix basically, self-hosted. Nextcloud, which is like, if you can think of like Google Docs and like Google Drive, all that stuff, that's what Nextcloud is. Image, which is photo hosting, and then Actual Budget, which is budgeting software. Those are my current apps that I'm running. I'm going to have a video for all of these, and we're going to go in depth into some of them. I also have TrueNAS running, so we'll do a video on that, but that's actually its own system entirely. And I think that the DNS server works for this. So if I do truenas.home.hake.rodeo, my TrueNAS system comes up. So you can see this is an example of using Nginx Proxy Manager with Pi-hole to use a real domain, an HTTPS, and it's actually a secure connection without any warnings. So this is all going to be covered in the next few videos, so feel free to like the video, subscribe, and you'll get notified when I put out the rest of these videos. Thanks for watching. Proxmox is awesome. You're going to have a lot of fun in it, and I'll see you in the next one.